Here's an assortment of coffee makers that I seem to have accumulated over the years, predominantly from thrift stores and from garage sales and the like. I don't think I paid much for any of these. The AeroPress and the Chemex were purchased new, but the rest of them were all finds. I think Amanda's growing tired of my coffee maker collection, and in order to get me to do something with them, she has suggested that perhaps I should do reviews of each of the various coffee makers. So I'm going to take her up on it. Challenge accepted. And if it turns out that I do this and I find this to be an engaging way to spend the end of the pandemic, maybe it'll give me an excuse to buy more. So, I think we're going to start with our daily coffee maker, the one that we use every morning, which is the only drip coffee maker that we have out, the General Electric old school drip coffee maker. And then that will be our standard of comparison, and we can move on to other coffee makers. So the first coffee maker that we're going to use is our everyday coffee maker. This is the one that gets probably used 3 times a day. I actually just gave it a good scrubbing, and it still shows its use. It is the General Electric Coffeematic II coffee maker. And one of the things I love about this coffee maker is its general simplicity. It's got no bells, it has no whistles, it just makes coffee, and it seems to do it fairly consistently and fairly well. For a long time, I used and tried to find Norelco coffee makers that were probably from the 1960s. This one's actually a step up from that in that it has, and this is huge, an on-off switch. The other ones you just plugged in and you unplugged. It turns out the on-off switch does make things a little bit easier. As you can see, it's got a glass carafe. It's got a plastic hopper in the top that shows the signs of age. You put your coffee in here. You have to poke a hole in this. One of the other distinguishing features of those Norelco coffee makers, and this seems to be a variation on that, is this vent post here. You used to be able to buy specific coffee filters that had a little hole in them that would go over that. I haven't seen any of those in a long time. I'm sure there are probably still some areas out there that will make or that sell them. I use just a regular basket filter and rip a little hole in it. Here we've got our basket filter in, a little hole in it, still allowing for the vent to come out. For these reviews, I've decided that we are just going to make 6 cups of coffee. We will grind the coffee in the Capresso burr grinder. It's fine. I don't think it's top of the line burr grinder, but it has variable grinds. In general, for all of the coffee makers, unless there's a real need, we're going to go with just the standard medium grind. 6 cups of coffee, and a couple of the things that we're going to keep in mind is how long it takes to brew the coffee, the flavor of the coffee, as well as the temperature of the coffee. So I'm going to put the coffee grounds in, and we will get started on timing it and seeing how the coffee maker does. So the water goes in the top, just like you would expect. Pretty straightforward. See if I can. Coffee goes on there, top goes there. We will turn coffee maker on and see how it goes. Another of the things that I like about this coffee maker is obviously the glass carafe. One of the things that we're going to find when we look at all of the other percolators and anything that doesn't have a glass carafe is it's going to have a little bit of a flavor of leftover coffee. So we just turned it on. Already you can see water is coming out and filtering through. The first few drops don't look like they're particularly dark or full of coffee flavor, but believe me, they will. This coffee maker works really well with this particular size of Chemex. I think this is a 6-cup size of Chemex. If you want to have a Chemex coffee experience but don't feel you want to boil the water on the stove and pour it over time into the coffee maker, the flow of the water from this coffee maker doesn't overfill the Chemex. It doesn't flow out too quickly. Additionally, the Chemex, this particular size of Chemex, will fit right in the place of the basket that came with it. So that's a really handy feature for this particular situation. It turns out I forgot to start timing how long this coffee maker takes to brew. So it's been about 1 minute and 20 seconds right now. One thing that if you like to get your coffee as soon as possible, this coffee maker does not have, obviously, any sort of stop brew feature that will allow you to snag the first cup. Okay, it's been about 4 minutes, and you can see we've got almost 5 cups of coffee. It's beginning to make the gurgles where it's probably close to the end of the water that's in the coffee maker itself. It'll continue to drip for another little bit, and I'll let it finish that up, and then we can take the temperature of the coffee before we pour it into a cold mug. Give it a swirl. It's looking like right out of the maker it is just shy of 100, almost just shy of 170 degrees. 169.3 degrees. So now we've got a cup of coffee right here. In general, I like to put sugar in my coffee. My wife likes cream. These are important things that we've negotiated in our relationship. And this is black. It's got good flavor. Obviously, it's the flavor I'm used to. It's the coffee I have every morning. So given this starting point, it makes 6 cups. It loses a little bit of water. One of the things that I noticed when I poured in 6 cups, we really only got 5 cups of coffee out of it. So through evaporation or internal age, there's still a little gurgling going on in there. It loses a bit of water, but you know, this is what I expect my coffee to taste like. It's not too oily. It's not too crisp. When we are looking at the Chemex that we've got here, one of the things that they are known for is the fact that the filters take out all of the oils, and when we look at the French press, one of the things that, those don't take out any of the oils. I would say this is right in the middle. And I'm going to keep using this coffee maker every day.